Your little hobby is so cute, Naomi. Maybe one day you'll make enough to buy us all coffee. Sasha's voice dripped with condescension as she picked at her salmon, not bothering to look up from her plate. My name is Naomi, and I've been married to her son Zayden for 8 years. 8 years of family dinners like this one, where my online artisan business gets dismissed as adorable finger painting, while Zayden gets praised for his real job in corporate finance. Actually, Mum, I made $1,200 last week, I said, cutting into my chicken with more force than necessary. Zayden laughed. 1,200? That's what I make in a day, babe. Maybe it's time to focus on more important things, like Olive's school activities? Our 7-year-old daughter looked up from her mac and cheese, sensing the tension but not understanding it. She had that worried expression she got when adults talked in sharp voices. The Rogers men have always been providers, Sasha continued, finally gracing me with her attention. Zayden's father may have been a disappointment, but my son understands responsibility. A woman's place is supporting her husband's success, not chasing pipe dreams. I smiled sweetly. Of course, Sasha, though my pipe dream did pay for this dinner. The silence stretched uncomfortably. Zayden's jaw tightened. What Mom means, he said carefully, is that we appreciate your contribution. But let's not pretend it's a career. You're playing with crafts while I handle the real financial pressure. Daddy, what's a pipe dream? Olive asked. Something that's not real, sweetheart, Sasha answered before I could speak. Like when people think their hobbies matter as much as grown-up jobs. I watched my daughter absorb this lesson about her mother's worth. Something cold settled in my chest. More wine? I asked, already reaching for the bottle. The conversation moved on to Zayden's latest promotion prospects and Sasha's bridge club drama. I nodded and smiled, playing the supportive wife while mentally calculating my actual monthly revenue. $23,000 last month. Not bad for finger painting. After dinner, while loading the dishwasher, I heard Zayden's phone ring in the living room. His voice went from casual to sharp to desperate in the span of 30 seconds. What do you mean, effective immediately? I've been there 6 years. 6 years! I dried my hands slowly, listening. Budget cuts? Are you kidding me? I have a family. I have a mortgage. The phone clattered onto the coffee table. Footsteps paced back and forth across the hardwood. Zayden, I called softly. He appeared in the kitchen doorway, face pale. I got laid off. The words hung between us like a bomb waiting to explode. Effective when? Today. They're emailing my severance package tomorrow. Sasha's voice carried from the living room where she was helping Olive with homework. What's all the commotion? Zayden ran his hands through his hair. I don't know how to tell her. She's going to lose her mind. We'll figure it out, I said, automatically, though my brain was already spinning. Mortgage, car payments, Olive's school, health insurance. The numbers weren't pretty. Figure what out? Sasha appeared, looking between us with growing alarm. I lost my job, Mum. The colour drained from her face. What? How? You're the best they have. Apparently not. This is temporary, she said firmly. You'll find something better. The Rogers name means something in this city? I almost laughed. The Rogers name meant debt, and Douglas walking out when Zayden was 12, but sure. Let's go with legacy. In the meantime, Sasha continued, we need to be smart about money. Cut unnecessary expenses. Her eyes landed on me. Maybe it's time to stop playing with those crafts and focus on supporting your husband through this crisis. Actually, I said quietly, my business might be able to help us through this. Zayden shook his head. Naomi, this isn't the time for fantasy. We need real solutions. I make real money, Zayden, enough to cover our expenses while you job hunt. How much? Sasha demanded. I hesitated. If I told them the truth, everything would change. But looking at Olive colouring at the kitchen table, oblivious to the storm brewing around her, I made a decision. Enough, I said simply. That night, after Sasha went home and Olive was tucked in bed, I sat at my computer and opened my business accounts. The numbers glowed back at me. 6 figures in the bank, orders backed up for weeks, a waiting list of wholesale clients. My little hobby was about to become their lifeline, and I was going to make sure they never forgot it. 3 weeks into Zayden's unemployment, I was running on 4 hours of sleep and pure spite. "Mommy, you look tired," Olive said, climbing onto my lap while I packaged orders at the kitchen table. "Just busy, baby. Want to help me put stickers on these boxes?" She nodded eagerly, and we worked together in comfortable silence. At least one person in this house appreciated what I did. "Naomi!" Zayden's voice boomed from upstairs. "Where's my good interview shirt?" "Laundry room," I called back, not looking up from the shipping labels. "It's not there." I sighed, kissed Olive's head and trudged upstairs. The shirt hung exactly where it always did, right in front of his face. "Here." I handed it to him. "Thanks." He didn't meet my eyes. "Listen, I've been thinking. Maybe we should consider selling the house. Get something smaller until I'm back on my feet." "We're not selling the house." "Naomi, be realistic. The mortgage alone is killing us." "The mortgage is current. I paid it yesterday." His face darkened. "With what money?" "My money, from my business." "Our money," he corrected. "We're married." I stared at him. "Right, our money, which I'm earning while you sleep until noon and play video games. I'm job hunting. For 2 hours a day, maybe." The doorbell rang, cutting off his response. I went downstairs to find Amber on my porch, holding coffee and wearing her concerned friend expression. "Intervention time," she announced, pushing past me into the house. "Hi, Olive. Want to watch cartoons upstairs while Mummy and I talk?" Olive scampered off happily. Amber had always been good with kids. "You look like hell," Amber said once we were alone. "Thanks. Really what I needed to hear." "How many hours did you work yesterday?" "I don't know. 14? 15? "Naomi." "I have to, Amber. The orders are pouring in. Angelina's helping, but we're still swamped." "That's good news, right? Business is booming." "It would be if my husband wasn't treating me like his personal ATM, while his mother suggests I'm somehow responsible for his unemployment." Amber raised an eyebrow. "What does Sasha say now?" "Yesterday she asked if maybe I'd been distracting Zayden from his career by encouraging my little projects. Like my success is why he got fired. That woman is unbelievable." My phone buzzed. A text from Angelina. "Emergency. Call me." "I have to take this," I told Amber, stepping into the kitchen. "Naomi, we have a problem," Angelina said when I called. "I was updating the inventory system and noticed some weird transactions, money being moved around in ways that don't make sense." My stomach dropped. "What kind of transactions?" "Someone's been accessing the business account. Small amounts, but frequent. And there's a pending transfer for $5,000 that I didn't authorize. Can you see who initiated it? The login shows your credentials, but the IP address is from your house. Are you working from home today?" I looked toward the living room, where Zayden was supposedly job hunting on his laptop. "I'll call you back." I hung up and walked casually to where he sat, pretending to scroll through job listings. "Find anything interesting?" I asked. "Few possibilities. Nothing concrete yet." His laptop screen showed Indeed, but the browser history told a different story. Banking websites? My banking websites. "Zayden, have you been in my business accounts?" He didn't look up. "What? No. Why would I do that?" "Because someone has. Someone with access to this house." Now he looked at me. "Are you accusing me of something?" "I'm asking a direct question." "This is ridiculous. I don't even know your passwords." "You don't need passwords if you save them in the browser." The front door opened, and Sasha's voice filled the hallway. "Hello, I brought lunch." Perfect timing, as always. She bustled into the living room carrying grocery bags, took one look at our faces, and stopped. "What's wrong now?" "Nothing, Mum," Zayden said quickly. "Someone's been accessing my business accounts without permission," I said. Sasha set down the bags. "Well, you are married. Shouldn't your husband have access to family finances?" "This isn't family money. It's my business." "Naomi, dear, there's no your money and his money in a marriage. You're being selfish." Amber appeared in the doorway. "Actually, there is when one person is doing all the work." Sasha's eyes narrowed. "Excuse me? You heard me?" "Amber," I warned. No, Naomi. I'm tired of watching them treat you like garbage while you carry this entire family. I think you should leave, Sasha said coldly. I think you should stop mooching off your daughter-in-law and get your son a job. The silence was deafening. Zayden's face went red. Sasha looked like she might spontaneously combust. My phone rang. The mortgage company. Mrs. Rogers, this is about your account. We've received a foreclosure notice request. Can you confirm you want to proceed with selling the property? My blood turned to ice. I never requested that. The request came from your husband's name on the account. Is this not authorized? I looked at Zayden, who suddenly couldn't meet my eyes. No, I said slowly. It's not authorized. I hung up and smiled at my husband, the kind of smile that should have scared him. We need to talk. Now. You tried to foreclose on our house? My voice was deadly calm as I faced Zayden in our bedroom, door closed so Olive couldn't hear. I was exploring options, he said, pacing like a caged animal. We're drowning, Naomi. I had to do something. Without telling me? It's my name on that mortgage, too. You weren't listening. Every time I tried to discuss our finances, you shut me down with your craft money nonsense. My craft money is paying our bills. For now, what happens when people get bored of your little trinkets? What happens when the trend dies? I stared at him. You really think that's all this is? A trend? Naomi, be honest. You make jewellery and candles. It's not sustainable. I employ 3 people. I have wholesale contracts with 6 major retailers. I made $47,000 last month. His mouth fell open. What? You heard me? That's impossible. Check the bank statements? Oh, wait, you already have been. Footsteps thundered up the stairs. Sasha burst through our bedroom door without knocking. What is all this yelling? Olive is upset downstairs. Your son tried to sell our house behind my back, I said. Good, Sasha snapped. Someone needs to make hard decisions around here. You're living in a fantasy world, Naomi. This house is too expensive for your situation. My situation is fine. His situation is the problem. How dare you speak about my son that way? How dare he try to steal my house? It's not your house, Zayden exploded. It's our house. I'm the one who qualified for the mortgage. I'm the one who got fired, I finished. I'm the one making the payments now. Temporarily. It's been 6 weeks, Zayden. 6 weeks of me working 18-hour days while you explore options like forging my signature. I didn't forge anything. Then how did the mortgage company get a foreclosure request with your name on it? Silence. That's what I thought. My phone buzzed. Angelina again. I have to take this, I said, stepping into the hallway. Naomi, it's getting worse. Angelina's voice was tight with worry. Someone tried to sell your equipment on Facebook Marketplace. Your pottery wheel, the kiln, everything. The buyer contacted me, asking about pickup times. What? I have screenshots. The seller used Zayden's Facebook account. I closed my eyes. Cancel everything. Change all the passwords. Move the equipment to your garage if you have to. Already on it. But Naomi, this is getting scary. What if he tries something else? He won't get the chance. I hung up and walked back into the bedroom. Zayden was sitting on the bed, head in his hands. Sasha stood beside him, like a guard dog. You sold my equipment, I said. His head snapped up. What? No, I didn't. Facebook Marketplace, your account, my pottery wheel. I was seeing what it was worth, for insurance purposes. Insurance purposes. Yes, you're lying. Naomi, please, I'm trying to help. We need money, and you have all this expensive equipment just sitting there. Making me money? Well, I can't even contribute to my own family. So you decided to sabotage mine. Sasha stepped forward. That's enough. Naomi, you're being cruel. Can't you see he's struggling? I'm struggling too. I'm working myself to death to keep us afloat while he undermines me at every turn. You're being dramatic. Am I? He accessed my business accounts without permission. He tried to foreclose on our house. He attempted to sell my equipment. What's next, Sasha? What other ways can your precious son destroy everything I've built? You've built? Zayden stood up, face flushed with anger. You think you built this life? I worked for 6 years to give you this house, this lifestyle. Your little hobby exists because I provided the foundation. My little hobby is the only thing standing between us and bankruptcy." "Stop calling it a hobby," he screamed. The house went silent. Even Sasha looked shocked. "Finally," I said quietly. "Finally, you admit it's not a hobby." That's not what I meant." "Yes, it is. You know exactly what my business is worth. That's why you're trying so hard to control it." Olive's voice drifted up from downstairs. "Mommy, are you okay?" I looked at my husband, then at his mother, then at the door where my daughter waited. "I'm calling Barrett," I said. "Who's Barrett?" Sasha demanded. "Our lawyer." "Well, my lawyer now." "Naomi, don't do anything rash," Zayden pleaded. "We can work this out. You tried to steal my house and sell my equipment. We're past working it out." I walked toward the door, then stopped. "Oh, and Zayden, the next time you want to explore options, try exploring the want ads, like a real job search." I left them standing there and went downstairs to comfort my daughter. But first, I had a phone call to make. Barrett's office smelled like leather and old money. He sat across from me, reading through printed bank statements with the kind of focus that cost $300 an hour. "This is extensive," he said finally. "Your husband accessed your business account 17 times in the past month. Can we prove it was him? The IP addresses match your home network. The timing coincides with when he was alone in the house." Barrett looked up. "Naomi, this isn't just snooping. He initiated actual transfers." "How much?" $12,000, moved from your business account to your joint checking, then immediately transferred to a new account I don't see listed anywhere." My stomach dropped. "What new account?" "That's what we need to find out." The door to Barrett's office opened, and Amber walked in, looking grim. "Sorry I'm late. Traffic was murder." She sat down beside me. "Did you tell him about the other thing?" "What other thing?" Barrett asked. I pulled out my phone and showed him the screenshots Angelina had sent. "Someone's been researching bankruptcy lawyers. Using my computer, Barrett studied the images. These searches are very specific. Chapter 7 versus Chapter 13. Asset protection during filing. This isn't casual browsing." "He's planning to declare bankruptcy," Amber said, "which would wipe out Naomi's business assets if they're considered marital property." "Not if we act first." Barrett leaned back in his chair. "Naomi, I need to ask you something important. Do you want to save this marriage?" The question hung in the air like smoke. "I want to save my daughter's stability and my business, in that order." "Then we need to move fast. I can help you separate your assets, but there are steps we need to take immediately." "What kind of steps?" "First, we secure your business completely. New accounts, new passwords, everything in your name only. Second, we look at the house." "What about the house?" "Who's on the deed?" "Both of us." "Who qualified for the mortgage?" "Zayden. But I've been making the payments for 2 months. Barrett made notes. "We can work with that. If you can prove you're the sole financial support for the household, we can petition to have the property transferred to your name only." "Is that legal?" "Perfectly legal, especially given his attempts to foreclose without your consent." My phone buzzed. "Zayden." "Where are you? Olive's asking for you." I showed the text to Barrett. "I should go." "One more thing," he said, handing me a business card. "This is a private investigator. If your husband is hiding assets or planning something bigger, we need to know." "You think he's hiding money?" $12,000 doesn't just disappear, Naomi." The drive home felt like heading into battle. I found Zayden in the kitchen, making dinner for once. Olive sat at the counter, colouring. "Mommy!" She jumped down and hugged me. "Daddy made spaghetti." "That's wonderful, baby." I kissed her head, keeping my voice light. "Why don't you go wash your hands?" Once she was gone, Zayden turned to face me. "We need to talk," he said. "Yes, we do." "I know you're angry about the house thing, but I was trying to help. We're in over our heads, Naomi." "No, you're in over your head. I'm doing fine. Your business won't last forever." "Why are you so convinced of that?" He stirred the sauce aggressively. "Because I know how these things work. You got lucky during the pandemic when everyone was buying handmade stuff. But markets change. Trends die. This isn't a trend, Zayden. I have contracts. Repeat customers. A waiting list. For now. What's that supposed to mean? He set down the spoon and looked at me directly. It means I've been doing research. Real research. About small businesses. Failure rates. Market sustainability. What kind of research? The kind that shows 90% of craft businesses fail within 5 years. I stared at him. Where did you get that statistic? It's common knowledge. It's bullshit. Naomi, no, Zayden. You want to know what's common knowledge? That unemployed husbands who steal from their wives' businesses have a 100% failure rate at being decent human beings. His face went red. I never stole anything. $12,000. Where is it? What $12,000? The money you transferred out of my business account. I don't know what you're talking about. The bank records show 17 unauthorized accesses to my accounts, all from this house, all during times when you were here alone. You're tracking me now? I'm protecting my business. Olive appeared in the doorway, eyes wide. Why are you yelling again? We both stopped. The silence stretched uncomfortably. We're just discussing grown-up things, sweetheart, I said gently. Nothing for you to worry about. But she was worrying. I could see it in her face, the way she clutched her stuffed rabbit tighter. Dinner's ready, Zayden said quietly. We ate in tense silence. Olive chattered about school, trying to fill the void. After she went to bed, I found Zayden in his office, laptop closed. The money, Zayden. Where is it? He looked up at me with something that might have been regret. I was going to tell you. Tell me what? I opened an account. For emergencies. With my money. With our money. Money I earned. Money we needed to protect. I laughed, but there was no humour in it. Protect from what? From you making bad decisions. The words hit like a slap. Excuse me? You're not thinking clearly, Naomi. You're emotional. Someone needs to be rational about our finances. I stared at my husband and realised I was looking at a stranger. Get out, I said quietly. What? Get out of this house. Tonight. Naomi, you can't be serious. Dead serious. Pack a bag and leave. This is my house too. We'll see about that. Zayden didn't leave. Instead, he called his mother. I woke up at 6 a.m. to find Sasha in my kitchen, making coffee like she owned the place. Good morning, dear, she said without looking at me. We need to have a conversation. We really don't. Zayden told me about your little tantrum last night. My tantrum? I poured myself coffee, noting she'd used my good beans. Is that what we're calling it, when someone objects to financial theft? Sit down, Naomi. This is my kitchen. I'll stand if I want to. Sasha turned to face me, and I saw where Zayden got his stubborn streak. You're destroying this family. I'm saving this family. By kicking your husband out of his own home? By protecting my daughter from watching her father steal from her mother. Steal? Sasha laughed. Married couples share finances. That's how marriage works. Not when one spouse is secretly planning bankruptcy to wipe out the other's business. Her face went pale. What are you talking about? Ask your son about his browser history? Footsteps on the stairs. Zayden appeared, looking like he hadn't slept. Morning, he mumbled. I thought I told you to leave, I said. I'm not leaving my daughter. Then maybe you should have thought about that before you tried to destroy her college fund. Sasha looked between us. What college fund? The money I've been saving from my business? The money your son has been stealing? Zayden, is this true? He ran his hands through his hair. It's complicated, Mum. It's really not, I said. He took money that wasn't his. End of story. My phone rang. Barrett. Excuse me, I said, stepping into the living room. Good news, Barrett said. The deed transfer went through. The house is officially in your name only. I nearly dropped the phone. Already? Emergency petition. Given the attempted foreclosure and financial irregularities, the judge fast-tracked it. Congratulations, Naomi. You own your home. What does that mean exactly? It means you can legally ask anyone to leave, including your husband. I hung up and walked back to the kitchen, where Sasha and Zayden were whispering urgently. Something you'd like to share? I asked. Mum thinks we should try counselling, Zayden said. Mum thinks you should get a job. Sasha's eyes flashed. Don't be smart with me, young lady. I'm 32 years old and I own this house. I'll be as smart as I want. You what? Zayden stood up so fast his chair scraped against the floor. The house is in my name now, legally, officially. That's impossible. Check the county records. You can't do that without my consent. Actually, I can, especially when you tried to foreclose without mine. Sasha's face was turning an alarming shade of red. This is ridiculous. Zayden, call your lawyer. With what money? I asked sweetly. We'll figure something out, she snapped. You can't just steal a man's home. Watch me. Olive's voice drifted down from upstairs. Mommy, can I have pancakes? Coming, baby, I called back, then looked at Zayden. You have until tonight to decide where you're staying, but you're not staying here. Naomi, please, think about Olive. She needs her father. She needs stability. She needs to see her mother being treated with respect. Right now, you're providing neither. I started toward the stairs, then stopped. Oh, and Sasha, next time you want to use my kitchen, ask first. Upstairs, Olive was sitting on her bed, still in pajamas, looking worried. Is Daddy leaving? She asked quietly. I sat beside her. Would that scare you? Kind of, but also, she twisted her hands in her lap. He's been really angry lately. It makes my tummy hurt. Your tummy hurts when Daddy's angry? She nodded. And when you and Daddy yell, and when Grandma Sasha talks in her mean voice. I pulled her close. What if I told you that sometimes grown-ups need to live in different places so they can figure out how to be happier? Like when Tommy's parents got divorced. Maybe. Would that be okay? She was quiet for a long moment. Will you still be my mommy? Always. Forever and always. And will Daddy still be my daddy? Yes, baby. That never changes. Okay. She looked up at me with those serious 7-year-old eyes. Can we still have pancakes? I laughed despite everything. Absolutely. We went downstairs to find the kitchen empty. Through the window, I could see Zayden and Sasha in the driveway, having what looked like an intense conversation beside her car. Where did Daddy go? Olive asked. He's talking to Grandma Sasha. Are they mad at you? Probably. Are you scared? I looked at my daughter, then at the deed paperwork Barrett had emailed me, then at the kitchen where I'd been making breakfast for my family for 8 years. No, baby, I'm not scared anymore. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. This is Angelina. Someone's been asking questions about your business. A man claiming to be your business partner. Thought you should know. I showed Olive how to crack eggs while my mind raced. Business partner? Zayden was getting desperate, and desperate people do dangerous things. But I wasn't the same woman who'd let them dismiss my hobby at family dinners. I wasn't the same woman who'd smiled and nodded while they planned my future without me. I was the woman who owned this house, and I was just getting started. The intervention happened on a Saturday morning. I should have seen it coming when Zayden suggested we have a family meeting after breakfast. Sasha arrived with a notepad and the kind of smile that meant trouble. Zayden had showered and put on his good shirt like he was going to a job interview. Even Olive seemed to sense something was up, staying close to my side on the couch. Now then, Sasha began, settling into my favourite chair like she was chairing a board meeting. We're here because we love you, Naomi, and we're concerned. Concerned about what? Your priorities, Zayden said. Your obsession with this business. I looked at him. My obsession with paying our bills? See? Sasha pointed at me with her pen. That attitude right there. You've become defensive, hostile. This business is changing you. Into what? Someone we don't recognise, Zayden said softly. The woman I married was supportive, caring. She put family first. I am putting family first. I'm keeping us housed and fed. At what cost? Sasha leaned forward. Olive, sweetheart, do you feel like Mommy spends enough time with you? My daughter looked confused. Mommy works a lot, but she still reads to me every night. But wouldn't you like more time with her? I guess. See? Sasha turned back to me triumphantly. Even your daughter can see the problem. The problem, I said carefully, is that Daddy doesn't have a job, so Mommy has to work extra hard. That's temporary, Zayden said quickly. I have 3 interviews next week. You've had interviews before. This is different. These are real opportunities. Great. So once you're employed again, I can scale back my hours. Actually, Sasha interjected, we think it would be better if you stopped entirely. The room went silent except for the tick of the grandfather clock. Stopped what entirely? The business, Zayden said. Once I'm working again, we want you to close it down. Close down my business. It served its purpose, Sasha said. It helped during the emergency, but now it's time to get back to normal. Normal. A proper family structure, she continued. Zayden as the provider, you as the homemaker. The way it should be. I looked at my husband. Is this what you want? I want my wife back, he said. I want the woman who supported my dreams instead of competing with them. Competing? Come on, Naomi. You love that your little hobby makes more money than my career did. You love having that power over me. Power? Financial control, making me feel small. I never... You did. Every time you paid a bill, every time you mentioned your income, you were rubbing my face in my failure. Olive tugged on my sleeve. Mommy, what's happening? Grown-up talk, baby. Why don't you go play in your room for a few minutes? She hesitated, then whispered, Are you in trouble? No, sweetheart, I'm not in trouble. After she left, Sasha pulled out her notepad. We've made a list, she announced. Steps to restore balance to this family. Let me guess. Step 1, I quit my business. Step 1, you acknowledge that your husband's career comes first. Step 2, Zayden continued, you transfer the business assets to our joint account. Step 3, you focus on being a wife and mother. Step 4, we sell the business equipment and use the money to invest in my job search. I stared at them. Invest in your job search? Professional wardrobe? Networking events? Maybe a career coach? With money from my business. Our business, Sasha corrected. Marriage is a partnership, dear. You're right, I said quietly. It is a partnership. They both smiled, thinking they'd won. Which is why I'm filing for divorce. The smiles vanished. What? Zayden's voice cracked. You heard me. Naomi, don't be dramatic, Sasha said. We're trying to help you. Help me what? Give up everything I've built? Hand over my financial independence? Pretend the last 2 months didn't happen? Pretend what didn't happen? That I saved this family. That I kept us afloat while your son wallowed in self-pity. That I built something real and valuable while you both dismissed it as a hobby. It is a hobby, Zayden exploded. A hobby that pays the mortgage. A hobby that employs people. A hobby that has a 6-figure income. 6 figures? Sasha's voice was faint. You didn't tell her? I asked Zayden. You didn't mention that my little craft business makes more in a month than you made in 3? That's impossible, Sasha whispered. Check the bank statements. Oh, wait. Your son already has. Zayden stood up abruptly. This is insane. You can't just throw away 8 years of marriage because of some temporary success. Temporary? Yes. This won't last, Naomi, and when it crashes, you'll need me. You'll need us. Will I? You're not thinking clearly, Sasha said. You're drunk on a little bit of money and independence. But that's not real life, dear. Real life is family, commitment, sacrifice. You're right about sacrifice, I said, standing up. I've been sacrificing plenty. My sleep, my health, my sanity, trying to keep this family together while you both undermined me. We never undermined you, Zayden protested. You tried to sell my equipment. You accessed my accounts without permission. You attempted to foreclose on our house. You researched bankruptcy to destroy my business. What would you call that? Desperation, he said quietly. Exactly. You were desperate to maintain control, even if it meant destroying everything I'd worked for. I walked to the front door and opened it. I think this meeting is over. Naomi, Sasha said, if you do this, there's no going back. Good, I said. I don't want to go back. They left, but I knew they'd be back. People like Sasha and Zayden don't give up easily, but neither did I. And I had something they didn't, a plan. The morning I decided to end it all, I made pancakes. Zayden came downstairs at 10:30, hair messy, wearing yesterday's clothes. He'd been sleeping in the guest room for a week, pretending we were working things out. Smells good, he said, trying for normal. Sit down, I said, flipping the last pancake. We need to talk. He sat at the kitchen table where we'd shared thousands of meals, where Olive had taken her first bites of solid food, where I'd paid bills while he complained about his day at work. I set a plate in front of him, then placed a manila envelope beside it. What's this? Divorce papers. His fork clattered onto the plate. Naomi, come on. We agreed to try counselling. You agreed? I never did. You can't be serious about this. I sat across from him and slid another envelope forward. Eviction notice. You have 30 days. Eviction? His voice went up an octave. This is my house. Actually, it's not. Check the deed. He grabbed the papers, scanning frantically. This can't be legal. You can't just steal someone's house. I didn't steal it. I bought it. With my money. Our money. Money I earned while you played victim. The front door opened. Barrett walked in, briefcase in hand, looking every inch the expensive lawyer he was. Good morning, Naomi. Zayden. What's he doing here? Zayden demanded. Witnessing, Barrett said calmly, setting his briefcase on the counter. Making sure everything is properly documented. This is harassment. This is legal process, Barrett corrected. You've been served with divorce papers and given proper notice to vacate the premises. I'm not leaving my daughter. You'll have visitation rights, I said. Supervised, initially. Supervised? What the hell does that mean? It means someone will be present when you see Olive. Given your recent behaviour, the court felt it was necessary. What recent behaviour? Barrett opened his briefcase and pulled out a thick folder. Financial theft, attempted fraud, unauthorised access to business accounts, forging signatures. Should I continue? Zayden's face went white. I never forged anything. The mortgage company has records of someone using your name to request foreclosure proceedings without your wife's knowledge or consent. That's not forgery, that's fraud, Barrett finished, which is a felony. You're bluffing. Am I? Barrett pulled out another document. This is a restraining order. You're not allowed within 500 feet of Naomi's business premises or any of her employees. This is insane! Zayden stood up so fast his chair fell over. Naomi, tell him this is insane. Sit down, Zayden. I won't sit down. This is my life you're destroying. Your life? I laughed, but there was no humour in it. What about my life? What about the business you tried to sabotage, the equipment you tried to sell, the accounts you stole from? I was trying to save us. You were trying to control me. The back door opened and Sasha walked in without knocking, as usual. She took one look at the papers scattered across the table and her face hardened. What's all this? Your son is being evicted, I said pleasantly. Evicted from his own home? My home, I corrected. And he's being divorced too. Sasha's eyes narrowed. You vindictive little... Careful, Barrett warned. Anything you say can be used in custody proceedings. Custody? Sasha's voice was shrill. You can't take Olive away from her father. I'm not taking her away. I'm protecting her. From what? From watching her father steal from her mother. From learning that marriage means one person gets to destroy the other's dreams. From thinking it's normal for adults to scream and threaten and lie. We never... Zayden started. You tried to bankrupt me, I said quietly. You researched how to destroy my business through legal loopholes. You contacted my clients pretending to be my business partner. How do you know about that? Because I'm not stupid, Zayden. I'm not the helpless little wife you thought you married. Sasha stepped forward. This is all your fault. If you'd just been a proper wife, none of this would have happened. A proper wife. Supportive, submissive, putting your husband's needs first, like you did with Douglas. The room went dead silent. Sasha's face turned purple. Don't you dare bring up my ex-husband. Why not? He left you for the same reason I'm leaving Zayden. Because you're both controlling, manipulative people who can't stand anyone else's success. That's enough, Zayden shouted. No, it's not nearly enough. I stood up, feeling calmer than I had in months. It's not enough that you tried to steal from me. It's not enough that you attempted to destroy my business. It's not enough that you made our daughter afraid to come downstairs when you're angry. Olive's not afraid of me. She packed a bag, Zayden. Last week she packed a little suitcase and hid it under her bed. When I asked her why, She said she wanted to be ready in case we had to leave quickly. The colour drained from his face. She's 7 years old and she's planning escape routes because of you. I never hurt her. You hurt me, in front of her, repeatedly. Barrett cleared his throat. The papers are signed and filed. Zayden, you have 30 days to find alternative housing. The restraining order is effective immediately. This isn't over, Sasha hissed. Yes, I said, looking directly at her. It is. They left together, Sasha's arm around her son's shoulders, whispering poison in his ear. I watched them drive away, then turned to Barrett. How long before they try something else? They'll try, he said. But legally you're bulletproof. The house is yours, the business is protected, and you have documentation of everything they've done. And Olive? Joint custody, but primary residence with you. Given the evidence, no judge will rule otherwise. After he left, I sat in my kitchen in my house, and called Olive down for lunch. Where's Daddy? She asked. He's going to live somewhere else for a while. Because he was angry? Because sometimes grown-ups can't figure out how to be happy together? She nodded solemnly. Will you be happier now? I looked at my daughter, then at the divorce papers, then at the business phone that was already ringing with new orders. Yes, baby, I think I will. The divorce was finalised on a Tuesday. I know because Olive had soccer practice that afternoon, and I remember sitting in my car afterward, staring at the official papers while she kicked goals with her teammates. Mummy, did you see that one? She called out, running over during water break. I saw it, baby. Perfect form. She studied my face with those serious 7-year-old eyes. Are you sad about the papers? No, sweetheart, I'm relieved. Good. Daddy seems happier too. She was right. Zayden had found a job. Not the high-powered position he'd lost, but steady work that paid the bills. He'd also found a small apartment across town, and surprisingly, some humility. Our conversations were civil now, focused on Olive's needs, rather than our grievances. Sasha was a different story. You've destroyed this family, she'd hissed at me during the custody hearing. I hope you're proud of yourself. But even her venom had lost its sting. The judge had been unimpressed by her theatrics and very impressed by my financial records. Joint custody, primary residence with me, child support that actually reflected Zayden's new income rather than his old one. My phone buzzed. Angelina. Naomi, you need to see this. What now? Check your email. The feature article just went live. I pulled up the business magazine's website on my phone. There it was. From hobby to empire, how one woman built a 6-figure business while saving her family. The photo showed me in my studio, surrounded by my work, looking confident and professional. Nothing like the woman who used to smile nervously at family dinners while they dismissed her little crafts. It's already getting shares, Angelina continued, and we have 3 new wholesale inquiries. Any word from the TV producers? They want to schedule the interview for next week. I hung up and watched Olive practice penalty kicks. She'd started therapy after the divorce, and Dr. Martinez said she was adjusting well. Better than well, actually. Her grades had improved, and she'd stopped having those stomach aches. Mrs. Rogers? Another parent approached. I hope you don't mind me asking, but are you the woman from that article? The one about the business? That's me. I just wanted to say how inspiring it is. My sister's going through something similar with her husband, and your story gave her hope. This happened more often now. Women approaching me at school events, at the grocery store, even at Olive's soccer games. They'd share their stories in hushed voices, asking for advice about financial independence, about standing up to controlling partners, about protecting their children while protecting themselves. I'd started a private online group for them. It had grown to over 300 members. My phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Naomi, this is Rebecca Rogers. I nearly dropped the phone. Douglas's new wife, Zayden's stepmother. Rebecca, how did you get this number? From Douglas. He read the article about your business, and he wanted me to call. Why? Because Sasha's been telling people you're mentally unstable, that you stole Zayden's house and destroyed the family out of spite. And Douglas knows better. He knows what she's like, what she did to him. I sat up straighter. What do you mean? The same thing she tried to do to you. Control the money, control the narrative, make him feel small and useless until he had no choice but to leave. Douglas wants to help. He wants to testify. If Sasha tries to challenge the custody arrangement or cause more trouble, he'll tell the court exactly what kind of person she is. Why would he do that? Because he feels guilty about leaving Zayden with her, and because he's proud of what you accomplished. After practice, Olive and I stopped for ice cream. She got chocolate chip, I got vanilla, and we sat outside the shop watching people walk by. "Mummy, can I ask you something?" "Always." "Are you famous now?" I laughed. "Not famous, just visible." "What's the difference?" "Famous people are known for being known. Visible people are known for doing something that matters. Does your business matter?" "It matters to the people I employ. It matters to the customers who buy my work. It matters to the women who see that it's possible to build something of their own." "Does it matter to you?" I looked at my daughter, then at the ice cream shop, where we could afford any flavour we wanted, then at my phone, where messages from grateful women continued to arrive. "Yes, baby, it matters to me." That night, after Olive was asleep, I sat down at my computer and opened a new document. I'd been thinking about writing this story for weeks, but I hadn't been sure how to tell it. Now I knew. "I never expected to write this," I began. "But here goes." I wrote about the family dinners, the condescending comments, the financial theft. I wrote about the foreclosure attempt and the equipment sales and the moment I realized my marriage was over. I wrote about the fear and the anger and the cold determination that had carried me through. But mostly, I wrote about the aftermath, about Olive's improved grades and Zayden's grudging respect, and the women who stopped me in grocery stores to say thank you. I wrote about karma, and how sometimes it needs a little help. When I finished, I posted it anonymously to a popular online forum. Within hours, it had thousands of upvotes and hundreds of comments. Women sharing their own stories, asking for advice, offering support to each other. My phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "Naomi, this is your cousin Sarah. I saw your story online. I know it was you. I'm leaving my husband next week, and I wanted you to know your words gave me the courage. Thank you." I smiled and closed my laptop. Tomorrow, there would be more orders to fill, more interviews to give, more women to help. But tonight, I was just a mother in her own house, financially independent and finally free. And that was enough. More than enough. It was everything.